Okay, and we're going to kind of put this together into a grazing system. And I had some slides on legumes there, and I apologize. I got a little bogged down with some of the other discussion. But we can talk about those later if you want to. So what I want to do in this last slide is kind of put everything together real quick into a grazing system. In our goal, I said 300 days of grazing. Why 300? We have an economist at the University of Kentucky, Greg Halleck, and he's looked at systems, and you can never get a straight answer from an economist, right? Because he's always saying on the other hand. So what we really need is a one-armed economist, so he couldn't say on the other hand, right? But Greg said when he looks at hay production and being able to buy hay and the price of hay, when we look at a 300-day grazing season, that will probably be one of the most profitable grazing seasons for cow-calf operations because we can buy hay for relatively inexpensive in many cases. So our goal is 300 days. This is a potential system for the transition area, which includes states like Maryland, Virginia, and so on. Tall fescue base or best adapted cool season grass. We get a hump of growth in the spring, hump of growth in the fall. Not much going on in the summertime when growth is limited by high temperatures. First thing we can do to extend the grazing season is simply stockpile some of that fall growth for winter grazing. That's a very inexpensive and a very good way to extend the grazing season in this part of the country, and that's where you should start if you want to extend the grazing season. Second thing we can do to extend grazing in the summer months is incorporate some kind of warm season grass. I have Bermuda grass on this, but it could be an annual in your grazing system. It could be crabgrass. It could be a native warm season grass even if you want to incorporate that into your grazing system. And then in this area where we have the Bermuda grass or a summer annual, we could incorporate annual ryegrass or other cool season annual into that grazing season and fill in, get a little bit of growth in the fall, and then most of our growth will come in the spring, and we'll kind of fill some of these gaps in the spring in forage production. And by doing that, we can really level off the seasonal distribution of forage over that entire grazing season. Now look, I don't live in a fantasy world. It's a heck of a lot easier to do this on paper than it is in the real world when we're dealing with floods and droughts. But the point I want you to take home is that we in the transition zone have a tremendous amount of tools in all these different forage species, and it's up to us to kind of open that toolbox up and get out the forage species and put them together into a system that works for us on the farm that's going to help us extend grazing and reduce our cow-calf production costs.